Again, as you're reading a document, it says there's a graph over here, and there's a graph for a reason. I want you to look at it. So it says that, it may look unfamiliar to you, but it's simply a graph of this over here. So let's just take a look at it and see if we can, recognize that. And there might be things about this that you don't recognize. So what I want to point out is I kind of see something in the picture. So what are you seeing in the picture? I'm seeing that red thing over here, and I'm wondering what that is, all right? So my claim over here, let's go back and read. And it goes over, says the graph, and again, we just looked at the graph. It's simply a graph of y equals sine x cosine x minus cosine x. So I'm going to say that red line, the red one, is y equals. This is the red one. What does it equal? It equals sine x times cosine x minus cosine x. I do see that graph, by the way. All right? And then someone says, what else do you see? I see a bunch of little dashed lines over here. And again, the collection of the dashed lines is it's going to be something to do with slopes of the tangent lines. All right, so looking at, let's just keep reading it. It says segments are on various points x, y, where the slopes of these the slopes of these line segments is the value of y prime. For example, let's just look at the for example, by the way. And I want to emphasize that we are looking at a differential equation, and the differential equation we're looking at is this guy up here, all right? So I'm going to write the differential equation down for you, and the differential equation is y prime plus y times the tangent of x equals cosine squared x, all right? So let's just take a look at it. And they say that you got a point 0, 0, 0, 0. What do you get there? Well, that means x equals 0, and it means y as a function of x equals 0. So let's plug that in. What do you get? You get y prime plus, well, y is 0. That's y's function of x. You get the tan of 0, because x is 0. That's going to be 0. Then what are you going to get over here? Equals the cosine of 0 squared, and that's going to be 1. So what about y prime? It's going to be 1. So my claim over here, although tedious, I know at the point 0, 0, I'd have a line segment there, very short one, that has a slope of 1. Let's take a look at that. And I want to emphasize over here that if I drew that out and put this over here, at this particular point over here, I'd have a little line segment there that has a slope of 1. And by the way, this would be incredibly tedious if I had to put down all the points I could imagine on this over here. So I'm going to say, I don't think I want to do it by hand, although some teachers do want you to do it by hand. What I want to do is, I want to talk about, briefly talking about using technology to generate all those, right, with using technology. So someone says, well, did you use technology to draw this picture over here? I did, right? So I'm going to say over here, I did one lousy little segment over there, but, the question is, what do I really need to draw in? I need to draw in a bunch of them. So really what we need to do is go back to that differential equation and figure out how to draw that, all right? So let's go through that, and we'll talk about it, kind of briefly. I'm looking at this over here. And the next thing I'm going to do, after this video's done, I just did one little line segment. By the way, you can do other ones. I mean, you can do as many as you like. I'm just saying it's tedious. I would want to use a graphing system to do that, and I'll go through that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use an application called Grapher. To graph, and I'll tell you what I'm going to be graphing over here. I'm going to be graphing two things. I'm going to be graphing this little tiny slope field. In other words, I'm going to graph this thing over here, and I'm going to graph this over here on the same axis. And hopefully you see how easy it is to generate something like this. And furthermore, to see how this thing, right, this solution I got fits this thing rather nicely, by the way, given conditions, by the way. What I mean by that, if you look at the slope field, it looks like it's just simply going through that sort of peacefully, by the way, exactly what you expected to see over there, right? Just like if you draw another one, like for example, you follow these things over here, I think you get the idea. You could follow these things and get a feel for what's happening over here if you were to draw that. And that's really important you see that, all right? And again, we'll do that next with the graphing system. Thank you.